Good morning. It is 7:04 a.m. on Friday, December 11th, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Boy, Rocket is all over the place this morning. He's just rambunctious. Um, it started when I gave him breakfast and another treat, but then had the audacity to say that he couldn't continue to eat forever until he is finally satiated. I know I'm just like, I'm still feeling the guilt about it, weighing on my heart. But um, he's a good boy though. I yesterday finished rewatching the Hobbit trilogy with, Battle of the Five Armies. And then because I was watching all three of those movies on HBO Max, and they also have the animated Hobbit, which I haven't watched in probably like 25 years or more, I watched that too. Just because I thought it would be interesting to compare two tellings of the story, one which takes almost 9 hours over three movies, and one which is one and done in an hour and 18 minutes. And as it happens, I actually found in watching the animated one that there were a lot of things that felt extremely rushed, or like, okay, we're just skipping over a lot of detail there. Fine, that's all right. Um, and things that I definitely like missed, like, oh, like we didn't really even do anything with that. I mean, I guess that's fine. But at the same time, it also really did convey pretty much the same story in, like 15% of the screen time, which is just kind of a demonstration of exactly how much stuff in the Hobbit trilogy movies that they just kind of shoehorned in and, injected like jelly into a donut. But that said, like there is actually a lot of stuff in those Hobbit movies that is really good. Like I pretty much everything with Bilbo himself, I think works pretty well for me. Martin Freeman is great in the role, and even at the end of all of the rest of it, Bilbo and Thorin there at the end, like hey, that worked for me. Like I'm glad that's in a movie. I'm glad that exists. Um, and so like there is a lot of good in there, and it was really just like I don't want to necessarily say that the desire to make it into three movies was like inherently about greed specifically, but like that's actually a theme in that story, right? It's this idea that you know, the horde of the dwarves in Erebor, them getting too obsessed with wealth and too greedy about it is what attracted the dragon in the first place. And then, even though they, get the dragon out of there, the idea that Thorin is like corrupted by it as well, and that's what leads to all this war and death. Because once he has it, he refuses to share even just a little bit of it. Even though, like the men of Lake Town, like it's one thing to say that he doesn't want any to give anything to the elves, even though some of what the treasure is in there is like their historic artifacts. But at least he could theoretically feel like he didn't actually accept any help from the elves, and they literally kept him imprisoned. And even though we know they only kept him imprisoned because he was rude to them while in their house. Um, but the like we could say that there's like two sides of that problem, right? But like with the people of Lake Town, he passes through Lake Town and they say, "Oh no, don't go in there. He'll wake up the dragon. He'll destroy everything." And they're like, "No, it's fine. We're gonna do it anyway." And then they do wake up the dragon, and he does ruin everything. And then the people kill him. And then Thorin's like, "You know what though? No, I don't like, you know, I'm not gonna give anything to you. So like, but like, I kind of got sidetracked there. But the point though, just being that like, you know, greed is kind of a theme there. Like this idea that like, you know, you have to have more and all of it and everything. So like this idea that you have to have it be a trilogy. I mean, I remember when they were coming out in the theaters, not only feeling like they were bloated, but it just felt like a dire travesty to have the second movie finish with them waking up Smog, but not finishing him off, just so that they could have the third movie start with an action sequence. But then again, I have a long history of hating when trilogies have a second movie end with a cliffhanger. And there are a lot of examples of that. Um, yeah, so that's, you know, oddly enough, I think Star Wars Episode 2, The Clone Wars, is kind of one of the only examples of. Well, actually, I guess The Last Jedi could be considered the second of a trilogy also, and like those don't end on a cliffhanger. And Empire Strikes Back, I mean, it, you know, it kind of does, but not in quite the same way, right? Like that, you know, saying, oh, we still have to go rescue Han. Like, yeah, okay, we buy that. You know, like that's okay. I'm rambling far afield now. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll let you all go. And I will talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.